Hi, I'm Robby Galletta. What we're going to do here in just a minute, you're going to see a video. And now what's important about this video, we made it just before the recession started, but it birthed a very new kind of technology. See, not only we're going to address a few things that are really, really important in that video. That lake that we raced on was, well, when we tested it after that race, it was actually better than it was when we came. It had more fish activity, it had more zooplankton, it had more oxygen. There was absolutely no traces of pollution. There was no trace that we were there at all, except that the lake was more alive than it was when we came. And that's real important. That's real important. It's about the environmental impact of how a human being can have, how we as a humanity can actually stage events that are run in harmony with this earth and not against it. And there's something else that happened there too. In that event, in those days, there birthed an idea for a new kind of outboard motor. And I've been working on that, and it's going through the patent process now. You're going to see it soon. But the real deal is this: pay attention to the race itself, and remember that after that event was done, that lake, that park, that area, that community was better. The community had a really great time. It was drawn together by a fine community event. A tremendous amount of money was raised for charity. The Rotarians had a great time. A great show was put on, and at the end of the day, the environment, the earth, the lake was better off for it. Watch the show.
Okay, welcome back to Florida Naturally, and we have Robby Galletta here, and we are at Hernando Lake. And Robby, what's going on here?
Well, what we're having is we're having a powerboat race, obviously, but a very special powerboat race. These are actually professional racing outboards, and unlike most powerboats where they discharge exhaust gases underneath the water, these don't. These actually skim the surface of the water, and they barely penetrate it. Only about 6 to 8 inches is the total draft of the boat. And what happens is we're also burning alternative fuels. We run methanol and ethanol, and what they use for oil, believe it or not, is castor oil. It's actually grown from a castor bean up around Jacksonville, Florida. But the bottom line is it's more of an eco-friendly sport. We don't have to have any type of improvement as far as the bank and everything. All we really need is a beach, and when we're done, after we're about 6 or 7 hours after we're gone, you never know we were there. What happens is when we come, especially at a new venue on Fridays, we actually test for the course. These boats are so critical. Basically, you're talking about an engine that is only 30 cubic inches, perhaps 1/2 of a liter in displacement, making nearly 240 horsepower. And depending on fuel load and how hard they want to lean on it. This is Tim Small in one of our psychotic canoes here. This basically is a runabout, and this is a runabout carrying a 350cc twin-cylinder engine that's making about 140 horsepower in a boat that you could walk off and carry on top of your head. You're talking about a kayak on acid. This thing is unbelievably fast. Now watch him slide this turn. He's turning on a turn fin. He'll straighten it up. And bring it down the straightaway with nothing in but just the last 2 or 3 inches of the boat in the water. That boat is unbelievably small. It's only about 11 feet long. And he'll lap this course here at nearly a mile. He's lapping this course at about 75 or 80 miles an hour average. Tim Small putting a runabout in the turn. Have mercy. And I can't stress this highly enough. We come, we put on a great show for the public. We raise a lot of money for charity. We're working with the Rotarians here.
All 5 chapters in the county, right?
All 5. They actually got together and agreed on something. They did. This is neutral ground. The impact of this race will be in the millions. In reality, it doesn't cost the municipalities or the community really anything at all to put it on. And when we're done, the fishing and everything will be better. What happens is these boats dissolve a tremendous... There's one coming by now. At the speeds they run, it's deceptive. On this course, a 5/8 mile oval, 5/8 to 1 mile oval, there is no faster craft in the world. Nothing. Wow. No boat, no type of unlimited hydro, no kind of boat will go around that race course faster than these will. They will actually turn in the 13,000 to 15,000 RPM range. And those big chambers that you see out the back, basically two-stroke tunes on what's called a standing wave. It actually uses the forces of nature to help the motor believe that it's actually larger than it really is. It's an amazing science, wonderful, wonderful to watch. And when one of them's running right, it'll make a sound that is so special. It's like, I don't know, gosh, it's hard to describe. It's like everything falls in place and you're hearing the sound of nature that's actually singing. It's a musical note.
Now, I noticed the propellers. You think they're huge propellers, but they're tiny. They're only probably about 6 inches in diameter, maybe less.
Anywhere from 6 to 8 inches. The thing of it is, most propellers turn underneath or submerged underneath the water, and because they can only turn about 2,500 RPM before they cavitate. They also, and this is unfortunate really, this has been done since the 1950s, they discharge their exhaust under the water, and it makes the motor very quiet and everything, but it's not that good for the environment. These motors, on the other hand, what you hear is what you get. No, they are muffled, but that tends to help us. It makes about the same amount of noise as, say, a marching band or a high school football game on Friday night. But more importantly, it doesn't put any sound underneath the water. It also doesn't put any exhaust gases under the water. These are called surface piercing props. And in doing so, what happens is the center line of the propeller shaft is actually the water level most of the time. And they beat the water one blade at a time. What happens is you'll have a 3-bladed prop turning 10,000 RPM, so 33,000 times per minute. It's actually dipping one blade in the water and putting about 6 ounces to 8 ounces of water that way, and putting about 6 or 8 ounces of force that way, which means that it's pushing at any given time. The boat will have, say 1,000, 1,500 pounds of water standing behind it. It's riding on literally a rocket tail of water. It's
I noticed it's a real rooster tail, as they call it.
That's exactly right. And what you'll see is, when one of the true hydroplane, we have 2 classes of boat here, a hydroplane and a runabout, and we'll talk about those in just a minute. But when a hydroplane is right, she is flying in ground effect, and she is in that very special place just before flight, but after flotation. And it's flying in a cushion of heavy air, of compressed air, just above the surface of the water. And the effect is very much like putting 50 cents into an air hockey table. That's exactly what happens. The boat literally comes unstuck from the water and literally flies in ground effect over the surface of the water with only its turning skeg, only the control fin on the left side of the boat, and the lower unit. Half the propellers in the water.
We'll be back with more of Thunder in the Hills, the 3rd Annual Family Festival and Boat Race 2008.
Oh, there's a big one cranking up there. That's an 1100. It's called a top hydro. And a top hydro, these boats have to run in a capsule. They actually go so fast that we have to have an armored capsule for the driver, to protect the driver. These boats will run well over 100 miles an hour, even in this in a controlled environment like this. One of the reasons that we do keep the course short is because if we allowed them to have any room at all, the boats would run 130, 140 miles an hour. And again, you might think you just don't really need to go that fast on the water. The bottom line is, one of the ways that we control the speeds of the boats is we run a relatively small course. Mm-hmm. That helps a lot.
Now, I noticed there's special safety on the 1100s. The drivers actually wear, looks like scuba equipment.
Well, what happens is those boats have onboard air. It's very, very important that the armored capsule take the initial impact, if the boat crashes into one another or if it goes into the water. But what happens is the driver could become trapped in there, and so what happens is all the drivers carry onboard air. So if they're submerged or unconscious, they actually have an air supply to them that allow the safety boat to get there. And then on every safety boat there, we have a trained diver that actually can go in and get them. In the big classes, there was a problem, in the last decade, where they actually were going so fast, and my father and I, we competed in that class. The injury ratio just got unacceptable. The injury ratio just simply got too high, and we put them over in capsules and went to win. This required a tremendous amount of cost, a tremendous amount of training, but what happened was our injury ratio just went down to nothing. Since then, we've had 36 recordable accidents, and we had 1 broken nose.
Terrific.
That's it. That's it. And I'll take that. That's okay. You know.
Tell us about the other classes now. I noticed some of the guys in the open cockpits are literally lying on their stomach.
It turns out that there are some boats that respond very well to what's called a lay-down boat, and the older style boat was a kneeler. There was a time when it was considered that you had to kneel in the boat and drive the boat much like a jockey rode a horse, or a motorcycle rider rode a motorcycle. They would lean out and jockey it around. Nowadays, the boats are so refined that the driver literally wishes to become one with the boat. But the reason that you see the guys actually laying down longitudinally, long ways in the boat, and what that does is it actually makes the driver one with the boat. He is flying on an aerial wing.
Like Superman.
Like Superman. That's exactly how he's going through the air. And that's exactly right. And it presents less frontal area. It's actually as if you were going to fly through the air, that's how you would do it, just like Superman. And we actually, it's a rocket sled if you think about it. The boat, the driver, everything weighs about 400 pounds total. And he has about, anywhere from 120 to 220 horsepower, depending on class. So you have 1 horsepower pushing about 2 pounds. And the only thing that comes close to that power to weight ratio, the only thing that comes close is like a top fueler, fighter jet, things of that nature. There's also 2 different types of boats. We have the true hydroplane, which is an aerial wing, and basically that boat's designed to actually fly in ground effect. And then there's another boat called a runabout. Now these are special. What happens with, years ago, and they still do it today, the yachtsmen would have a tender. They would have this motorboat hanging off the back of their yacht. And in Detroit River and all this, and it became like the Dodge brothers and Henry Ford the first and all, they had, it became great sport to race one's tender back and forth from your yacht to the dock. Well, as they raced along a little bit, the Dodge brothers especially, they began to cheat and cheat royally. And the boats got smaller and the engines got bigger until the point where they actually have put a professional racing engine on the back of this yacht tender. And then the boats continue to evolve. But what you wind up with today, these boats that look like a motor on the back of a canoe, that's actually, I call them psychotic canoes. Some of my best friends drive them, but they are insane. But basically, it's exactly what you see. It is an extremely small boat with an extremely powerful motor. And it's called a runabout.
And they sit upright.
And most of them, I think there's 1 or 2 that lay down, but most of those guys sit up and hang on. Most of those guys are on their knees.
And it looks like they're leaning too, like a motorcycle.
They lean forward, they get out, and they actually muscle the boat, or body English the boat around. It is an extremely small boat with an extremely powerful motor.
And that's again called, what's the class?
It's called runabouts, and we have them in various displacements. Okay. In this sport, you basically get to choose your poison. What happens is you can start out with a 125, which is a single-cylinder, 7 cubic inch motor that's making 30 or 40 horsepower, which will go about 70 miles an hour, which is 70, 80 miles an hour, a very fast boat. And then you can progress, you find the level of comfort. Basically, you can make it all the way up to the capsule class hydroplanes, and now the big classes. We have like 6 or 7 of those there. These are your true professional class boats. These are a couple of these guys here actually are touring pros that we have here today, and they are breathtakingly fast.
We'll be back with more of Thunder in the Hills, the 3rd annual Family Festival and Boat Races 2008 in just a moment.
Today we run basically our feature program. Yesterday we ran many of our smaller classes, our K Pro, which is our entry-level class for the kids. And we ran the first of our top hydro classes at the end of the day, where they're restricted to 500 cc's or 1/2 liter on their motors. Now today, after they've gone and sorted out and did all the braking, hopefully, that they were going to do, today they'll bring out their big engines, and they are allowed to run up to 1,143 cc's. In other words, they basically take the gloves off, and we're going to punch it out today. So today you actually see the the feature program, if you will.
As Sunday's race day progressed, the higher winds became a concern for the top hydro drivers.
Well, we're definitely not going to be at our top speeds today, and we're definitely going to be taking it a little more easier than usual, but just see how it goes. Hopefully there's no real big accidents. Very rough. I haven't had this rough water in a long time. Yeah, we were floating it pretty good out there. I mean, backed off the last couple laps because we had a competitor spin that was chasing me down, but that was definitely a wild ride.
Hi, my name is Doug Lobel, and I'm the General Chairman of the 2008 Family Festival and Boat Races put on by the 5 Rotary clubs in Citrus County that were held March the 29th and 30th of this year in Hernando, the town of Hernando, on Lake Hernando. And what an exciting time we had. The event started out Saturday morning with craft shows for people that wanted to come out and see what the crafters had to display. We also had a car show. We had a couple of car clubs that were there, and it was a great time was had by all those folks that came out to see the crafters and came out to see the car show. Also got entertained by the boat races that were taking place on Big Lake Henderson. And those races are sponsored by the United States Tidal Series, which is a division of the American Powerboat Association. They are nationally sanctioned races that happen each year now for the 3rd year here in Citrus County. The races were run with many different classes of boats. Some of those boats going upwards to 125, 126 miles per hour, which is pretty exciting for everybody to watch. There are children, family members that actually race with children as low as 11 years old. They have a lower class of boat. They only run probably 60 or 70 miles an hour, but it's exciting for everybody. This is an annual event that the Rotary clubs have been sponsoring now for their 3rd year. We expect it to go on for many more years, and next year it'll be March the 28th and 29th. We had over 90 boats from all over the United States, from as far away as Colorado, Michigan. These are National Tidal Series sanctioned boats. These racers actually get points just like NASCAR. And then cumulatively over the 7 races that they run throughout their time frame, whoever has the most points in each class is crowned the national champion. And so it's really exciting for us to be participants in a race of that magnitude throughout the entire country. And we have a variety of different foods that are available through different vendors. We've teamed up with the Elks Club, the Inverness Elks Club, and on their property, which is adjacent to the boat ramps that we launched from, we're able to cook hamburgers, hot dogs, and sausages, and because they have a license to serve alcohol, we're able to have a beer and a wine garden. People can stand there and watch the races right from the shore same as they would if they were in the actual park itself, except they can have a beer in their hands. On Saturday night, we host Music on the Lake, and we had 300 and 400 people that came out and watched the bands play this year. We had a band out of Clearwater led by a lady called Marty Carroll. Marty actually just cut a record in Nashville. It's number 18 on the charts, and we're real excited to have her there. It's very important to note that this whole event couldn't be held without the cooperation of Citrus County government. They make this park available to us, and they cooperate in every way, shape, or form, allowing us to close off one of the roads to have our vendors there. We really appreciate the cooperation of the county and all the other supporters that were involved with us. The stadium seating this past year was donated, and that may not happen every year, but we seating constructors, we really appreciate everything they've done for us. It made that event just so much nicer.
Well, it just gives families an opportunity to come out and spend some good quality time together, and as a community, that's what you want to portray, is good family fun and entertainment, and these boat races do just that for our Citrus County residents.
In any case, we'll be replicating many of these things this coming year on the dates that I mentioned, March the 28th and 29th. And we would invite you to be a part of that. We're looking for sponsors that can help us to sponsor the event, and the opportunity is open now. We do several things to promote this event. One is these flyers. We put about 400 of these flyers in businesses all throughout the county. Then it shows the event is coming, and it gives the pertinent data for people to know about the event. It's kind of exciting. In addition to that, we put out a black and white duplicate of that, a little smaller version. These are handouts. These are handed out through local businesses to people to be able to take home. They get inserted in the Chamber of Commerce magazine, which goes out once a month, has about 1,100 members. It goes to them. And we have created like thousands of these that we put out each year to let the people know the event's coming. And then when people show up, they get a copy of our program. And the program, as you can see, is very nicely done. It has, the program tells people about boat racing. It's a welcome from the president of the title series. There's a lot of good information in here. It tells you how to watch a race. This is an explanation of how you watch these races. And it also has room for our advertisers and our supporters. This is one of our major sponsors who comes to us every year, and so this is just one of our advertisers. This company's advertised with us for 2 years, so there's opportunities to take full-page ads, quarter-page ads, half-page ads, and we'll be glad to sit down and discuss those with you if you have an interest. We also have extensive coverage in the local newspaper. This happens to be the Citrus County Chronicle. This took place 2 days before the race actually happened. It explained that the races were coming. Thunder will roll in Citrus County. Come on out and watch the races. And then as kind of a recap, when the races are over, the Inverness Pioneer does a little show of the various different things that took place and the activities. And in all of these, we make sure that our sponsors are mentioned so that they get credit for helping to bring this event to Citrus County. We look forward to the opportunity to have you as one of our sponsors, and if you contact us, we'll be glad to find a way to fit you in. This year, we've been offered the opportunity this coming year to put the names of our major sponsors actually on the boats themselves. And as you have watched some of the footage of the boats racing, you'll see that there's an opportunity to put your business name on one of those boats if you become a major sponsor. So be sure to talk to us about that. It's exciting times. We look forward to the coming year and for many, many years in the future. And the interesting thing is all of the proceeds that come from this, from the Rotary Clubs of Citrus County and even the Elks, it goes back into our community. We all give scholarships to local students graduating from high school to go on to college. And we also donate to most of the other charities, the Salvation Army, the United Way. And so the proceeds are actually going to help the needy in our community. So you can come out, you pay a minimal fee at the gate to get in. You can buy hot dogs, hamburgers, enjoy the day. There's Cokes, beer, wine, and know that the money's going to good use. Whatever we make from that is going to go back to help other people. So please come on down. We'll look forward to seeing you this coming year. We look forward to talking to you in the meantime about your business being a sponsor of this wonderful event for Citrus County and for the state of Florida.
We hope you've enjoyed tonight's show. Tune in every Friday night at 7:30 right here on WYKE. I'm Jeff Hall for Florida Naturally.